Reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote in 3 minutes. Trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Welcome back to the Ben Shapiro Show. So Ron DeSantis has been winning big in Florida, and this is scaring the living hell out of left, so that's a lie. That Whoopi Goldberg over on The View, which is the repository of all knowledge and wisdom in the universe. She suggested that no one is actually teaching theory. Again, this is part of the ongoing left-wing series. It's not happening, and it's good that it is. Here's Whoopi Goldberg.
He was conflating it with CRT, which is something I think you can have a conversation, critical race
I
theory.
wish somebody would show me a book. Okay, show me the that everybody is talking about that is teaching CRT.
It's at Harvard Law School, actually.
Yeah, I want to see, I want to see the one that they're doing.
With the little kids.
I want to see
I haven't seen that one.
No, but I'm demanding it now because I'm tired of it. It's, that book that you think your kids have been learning from is a book about what has happened in our country.
See, there it is. I love that. It's not happening, and it's good that it is. And it's good that it is stuff that's happening in our country, but also it's not in the book. It's not in the book. Guys, critical race theory exists. We've talked about it many times on the show. It's essentially a theory that has been mainlined into mainstream history by places like the New York Times. The 1619 Project, replete with all of the echoes of critical race theory. Meanwhile, Don Lemon is going even further over on CNN. I didn't even know he still had a job, but apparently he does. He says it's going to be illegal in Florida to teach slavery in schools. No, it's not, you idiot.
Slavery was political at one point. Martin Luther King, obviously, as Republicans love to talk about, every January. This was a political movement, and no one wanted to learn about that then either. If that's the kind of lineage he wants to join, people who are saying don't talk about the political thinking of marginalized groups, he's welcome to do it.
So slavery became illegal. Now it's going to be illegal to teach slavery in schools. It seems really odd.
I mean, where's he going to draw the line? Somewhere between abolition and now. I don't know where Ron DeSantis considers the history versus the now.
These are the objective journalismers. That's Audie Cornish, an anchor and correspondent. No, slavery has been taught in every American school of which I am aware for generations. The hell are you talking about? But again, they're just going to lie. The problem is that most Americans can see through these lies, so the left are having a real tough time. Which is why, again, they just have to keep exaggerating and exaggerating and exaggerating. MSNBC's Michael Beschloss says books are being banned in Florida. Okay, guys, you can get any book they want in Florida. You just can't mainstream it to the kiddies. I don't understand why this is so tough to accept. You can go down to your local porn shop and you can buy a copy of Playboy. That doesn't mean it should be taught in 3rd grade. I don't understand why you guys can't seem to understand that free speech is not the chief issue in the classroom. In the classroom, the chief issue is what gets taught to our small people. It's so irritating. But I guess this all comes down to this notion that children are basically just small adults who are vested with full autonomy, up to and including deciding their own sex and the ability of whether they ought to mutilate their own genitals and such. Anyway, here's MSNBC's Michael Beschloss. Genius, by the way, writes speeches for Joe Biden.
If you quizzed public school, elementary school kids, high school kids today about John F. Kennedy administration, what would they know? He got shot. Maybe that's it.
Or they might say, is that the guy who's coming back to run with Donald Trump next year? And they also might say, was it the idea of our founders, as we're now seeing in Joe and Nika's home state of Florida, was it their idea that books would be banned and taken out of classrooms?
Right.
And you'd have lists saying, these books are okay, these books are not.
Yes, the founders would have been fine with that. Are you insane? Yes, the founders would have been fine with the notion that there are certain books that do not belong in the classrooms of small children. I mean, honest to God, Michael Beschloss is supposed to be a historian. Has ever read a book? It's unbelievable. Read a book. Read a biography of John Quincy Adams and see how John Adams constructed his education, like book for book. You think it's like, well, John Quincy does have to see everything. Here's some wood carvings of a naked lady. I'm going to send those over to John Quincy and we'll see how he handles that. Like, what is wrong with you? But you're cruising for a bruising, so if this is the way you want to play it, then I guess this is how it's going to go. And meanwhile, in other news, the Department of Justice is now suing Google, apparently seeking to break up Google's business brokering digital advertising across the internet. It's kind of a fascinating thing because there is in fact a bipartisan consensus that Google has effectively a monopoly in the ad business. Filed in federal court in Virginia, according to the Wall Street Journal, Google abuses monopoly power in the ad tech industry, hurting web publishers and advertisers that try to use competing products. 8 states, including California and New York, have joined the DOJ lawsuit. The court to unwind Google's anti-competitive acquisitions, such as its 2008 purchase of the ad-serving company DoubleClick, call for a divestiture of the ad exchange. AG Merrick Garland said at a press conference, for 15 years, Google has pursued a course of anti-competitive conduct that has allowed it to halt the rise of rival technologies, manipulate auction mechanics, insulate itself from competition, and force advertisers and publishers to use its tools. By calling for specific divestitures from Google's ad tech business, the Justice Department went further in seeking a breakup than some antitrust experts had even expected. This is why Alphabet shares fell by about 2% in trading on Tuesday. The ad tech tools controlled by Google facilitate much of the buying and selling of digital ads that helps fund online publishers. Google's businesses include tool publishers can use to offer ad space, a product for advertising slots, and an exchange that links the bidders with the web pages. But there are a lot of people who are deeply worried that Google has been basically manipulating all of this to their own ends, some of those ends political. Alphabet gets about 80% of its business from advertising. The Justice Department's new suit targets the subset of that ad business that brokers the buying and selling of ads on the other websites and apps, as well. The idea is that they are privileging their own above other people's. Last year, Google offered to split off parts of its ad tech business into a separate company under the Alphabet umbrella. What's sort of fascinating here is just how wide the bipartisan acceptance of the attack on Google is. So, there are always a couple of sort of theories when it comes to monopoly power. One is that monopoly power should be broken if it harms the consumer. The other is monopoly power should be broken if it represents too heavy a percentage of the market. I tended toward the first theory, if it harms consumers. I certainly can say that Google's monopoly on ads has harmed consumers, for sure. That is a very real thing. And so the possibility that the DOJ is moving to break up the ad business probably is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I will say that the same people who are looking to crack down on Google's ad business from the Biden administration are also looking to crack down on free speech over at Twitter. Yet again, there's another study out, so many studies out every single day, a study out showing violence is increasing. Well, yeah, we know. And now they're blaming Twitter. These are accelerating, not because of Twitter per se, but because you took the cops off the streets and told them not to police anymore. I've noticed that they are accelerating, particularly in areas where you've been weak policing crime. But you got to find some way to crack down on the only possible free speech mechanism on the internet these days. New research to be released later this month by the Misinformation Tracker Network Contagion Research Institute suggests a connection between real-world incidents and variations of the word groomer, often aimed at gays and suggesting they are adults bent on seducing children. Although polls indicate a significant minority of the population believes otherwise, gay people are not more likely to be predators than straight people. So now they are trying to claim that the rise of the use of the term groomer on Twitter is leading to attacks on gay people. I'm going to have to see the evidence on that. The answer have none. At the beginning of this Washington Post story, they begin with the FBI charging a Florida man with making a detailed online threat to murder 100 gay people. He had also threatened to kill black people and tear gas synagogues. Apparently, he liked 11 tweets before his arrest. Quote, "There is no evidence of what Albert saw." So, there's not even a link there. This is the problem. I'm perfectly fine with DOJ actually showing the 149 pages of supporting evidence that the internet is being skewed by Google. I do have a fairly significant problem with the notion that these same people who are complaining about Google are also complaining that Twitter's free speech mechanisms are damaging to the United States. They're actually facilitating violence. This is the Ben Shapiro Show.
Talk Radio San Francisco, KSAN HD2 San Mateo, a Cumulus media station.
Ukraine bracing for a new missile attack until NATO. Fox News. Reuters reports Ukraine's declared an air raid alert over most of the country. The country's company performing emergency power shutdowns in the capital Kyiv as well as in Odessa. That comes as the U.S. is providing some armored vehicles to Ukraine.
The U.S. will send 31 U.S.-made Abrams tanks to Ukraine. There's no word just yet on when the equipment will arrive in Kyiv. It comes the same day as German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced that the country would be sending at least 14 Leopard 2 tanks. It will also greenlight the possibility for other countries to send their German-made tanks as well. Other countries quickly speaking up. Ukrainian officials say this is a major win and a victory in moving forward and pushing Russian forces out of its territory as the war nears the one-year mark on February 24th. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
The Department of Transportation launched an investigation into Southwest Airlines over the 16,000-plus flights it canceled in December.
A spokesperson for the Department of Transportation tells Fox it has begun looking into whether or not Southwest executives engaged in unrealistic, which under federal law would be considered a deceptive business practice. An airline spokesperson tells Fox Southwest will continue to cooperate with any inquiry from government officials. Southwest the December cancellations cost the company roughly $825 million. In Washington, Charlemagne, Fox News.
Meta Platform says it will end President Trump's suspension from Facebook and Instagram. Accounts were banned for inflammatory remarks made just before and after the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. America's listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day, going far beyond the headlines, tapping the reporting resources of Fox News to provide a full picture of the news of the day.
I'm Dana Perino.
I'm Brett Baer.
I'm Maria Bartiromo.
I'm Brian Kilmeade, and this is the Fox News Rundown.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, it's Will Kane, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Join me as I share my thoughts on a wide range of topics from sports and pop culture to politics and business. With the help of newsmakers and personalities, I will provide you my free, uncancelable opinions on the hottest topics in America.
The Will Kane Podcast. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. America is listening to Fox News.
California say they can't find any connection to the suspected shooter or 11 victims in last weekend's mass shooting at a ballroom in Monterey Park. The suspect, 72-year-old Hu Can Tran, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna also told a news conference,
not only